Man, NFL teams got freaky in free agency. Panic much? You bet your sweet bippy. Hello everybody and welcome to Shut Up Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus, that's Kevin, and this episode, we can't shut up about NFL free agency. Down to their very core, these rosters were shooked as GMs lay this money upon them. It's free agency, baby! Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Google said they will kill me if you don't. Or release my search history to the public. I don't know which is worse. Well, the week started with the NFL's period of legal tampering, which sounds like a term coined by an optimistic pedophile. By Thursday, the dollars were flying and players were on the move. The Buffalo Bills continued their quest to never draft a good running back by agreeing to terms with J.D. McKissick. Or so we thought. McKissick pulled out at the last second. You are not the father. Instead, McKissick chose to stay with the Commanders, which is some choice. O.J. Howard joined the team. I don't know what that means. Dawson Knox broke out as a favorite target of Josh Allen last year. Howard could be a depth piece, but it's more likely they plan to use him in two tight end sets, which seems like a great idea for the team, and not so much for Howard in fantasy. The Bills also signed linebacker Von Miller, a big deal for a lot of money and more years than I expect him to be in the league. The Bills also re-signed slot receiver Isaiah McKenzie. Cole Beasley was cut soon after. He's on to greener pastures. Or maybe his rap career. I don't really know. That dude skeeves me out. He's got a real Bud Light Lime vibe to him. The Miami Dolphins signed Teddy Bridgewater. He came free with one of those donut pillows for the bench. They also signed running back Chase Edmonds. He's easily the best running back on the team right now, but they didn't pay him huge money, so I'd still look for the team to add another running back in the draft. They also signed running back Raheem Mostert, so who knows? Maybe Mike McDaniels is bringing that 49er-style rotation from hell to Miami. Preston Williams was re-signed, I assume for depth, or as a joke. Wide receiver Cedric Wilson was signed. That's a sneaky good grab for the team, and if you're wondering how he fits, well, they paid him a lot, so they'll Jenga his ass in there somehow. Mike Gesicki was franchise tagged. They couldn't afford not to. Gesicki and Waddle made up most of Tua's targets and production last year. I like what they're doing here. It's almost like they have a plan. Well, the New York Jets re-signed Tevin Coleman. Nice try, Jets. Don't act like you're not drafting a running back again. They also brought back Braxton Berrios, who ended the year well. They obviously expect that production to continue for that kind of cash. And it could. He could be a sneaky get in fantasy this year. They also re-signed quarterback Joe Flacco, which is important for Zach Wilson. Every young passer could use a vet as a quarterback buddy. You know, someone who shows them how to tie a tie or which hand to use at the urinal. Pro stuff. Not having a vet to start the season last year was a huge mistake. Wilson was constantly found wandering the halls and pissing in people's shoes. You can't have that. It's a professional sports organization. I mean, it's the Jets, but still. Tight end C.J. Uzomah was a big signing. He's a huge target over the middle. Who they think gonna fix their offensive line? The Cincinnati Bengals. Guess they finally had enough of people tearing through their old one like wet toilet paper. Alex Kappa and Ted Karras are now on the roster. A very shrewd move. Investing in your front line is never sexy, but very necessary. You don't want your quarterback to spend more time on his back than a call girl on coupon night. Way to plug your gaping holes. Maybe if Joe makes it back to the Super Bowl again, Aaron Donald won't wear his ass like a penny loafer. The Cleveland Browns have overhauled their receiving core with OBJ gone and Jarvis Landry seemingly on the way out. They traded for Amari Cooper and signed Jakeem Grant. Tight end David Njoku was franchise tagged, even though he's behind Austin Hooper on the depth chart, so I guess fingers crossed this is the year for David. Paired with Donovan Peoples-Jones and Anthony Schwartz, that's a host of receiving options for some lucky quarterback. Which quarterback? Baker's been writing sentimental ciphers on the socials. Who knows? Maybe Deshaun Watson is down with the Browns. He'd bring a lot of mobility with his quick feet and busy hands. I'd have to imagine the addition of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah last year made linebacker Mack Wilson expendable. So the Browns traded him to the Patriots for defensive end Chase Winovich, which was a smart move for the Browns. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a new quarterback in old Mitchell Trubisky. This is a move I foretold, not through bold tweets or YouTube predictions, but through the quiet, cowardly addition of him to my dynasty team. He has the potential to have a resurgence like Ryan Tannehill did with the Titans. The team has a great running back, a good defense. Trubisky has the athleticism and mobility that Roethlisberger lacked in his later years. Mike Tomlin is a great coach, something Mitch has lacked his entire career. Plus, he's from the area. He grew up in Eastern Ohio. Steelers fans, I know this isn't exactly what you wanted, but it's a win. You were never going to get Rodgers, Wilson, or Watson, and he's a better short-term answer than anybody in this year's draft. So relax. Take a breath. It's better than starting Haskins or Rudolph. Trubisky is a good gateway quarterback for the Steelers, and like any good gateway drug, he'll do for a while, and then you'll move on. Someone keep the Jacksonville Jaguars away from the titty bars, because they are throwing stacks of cash in all directions. They signed Christian Kirk for $84 million. Then the Jags got Zay Jones for $30 million and tight end Evan Engram, which I assume wasn't worth as much because he has a hard time catching things. The Denver Broncos traded for Russell Wilson, finally ending the carousel of failure since Peyton Manning walked into the woods, never to be seen again. This is a huge win for the Broncos. Wilson provides stability at the one position they just couldn't get right. Somebody buy this man a chef's hat. It's time to let Russ cook. What do they even eat in Denver? Rocky Mountain oysters? Gee. The Raiders traded for Davante Adams and he got paid. I don't generally comment on another man's coin purse, but that's pretty big. Good for him, and good for the Raiders. Assuming that Derek Carr is capable of targeting somebody other than Darren Waller and middle-aged baby Hunter Renfrow, the Max Crosby extension, and the addition of Chandler Jones are a compelling start for the new regime. Can't wait to see what they do this year playing in Darth Vader's Roomba. The Los Angeles Chargers locked up wide receiver Mike Williams for the long haul. A no-brainer. Their defense gained Sebastian Joseph Day, Khalil Mack, and J.C. Jackson, which now makes this defense just pretty scary. Patrick Mahomes better pack his brown pants when they play. The Philadelphia Eagles lured center Jason Kelce away from the precipice of retirement. A big win for the offense. He's not just the center of the line, he's the heart of the team. They also signed linebacker Hassan Reddick, a homecoming, as he played college ball at Temple University. Welcome back. The Eagles bolstered a position of need, one that they've shown thus far unwilling to invest high draft capital in. Reddick paired with TJ Edwards gives them 2 out of 3 linebackers, and that's like more than half. The Washington Commanders traded for quarterback Carson Wentz. The Colts don't have a Jalen Hurts in the wings. They looked at Carson Wentz and decided nobody was a better option. But why? There have been numerous reports over the years about Wentz being selfish, uncompromising, egotistical, and shirking accountability. When Jalen Hurts was drafted, Wentz showed the worst regression I've ever seen by a quarterback in my entire life. Meanwhile, the Packers moved up to draft Jordan Love, and Aaron Rodgers' reaction was to have an MVP-level season. Ideally, you want your quarterback to rise to the competition. I thought Wentz could turn his career around in Indianapolis. I really did. There were a lot of reasons why he should have. A coach he had success with, fresh start in a new setting, he was the unquestioned starter, good weapons around him, and even though he did play better, it was still same old Wentz. Coach Reich had vouched for Carson Wentz to come to Indy, and after, he apologized to ownership for it. But before you laugh your ass out of your seat, a closer look shows Wentz actually makes sense from the Commanders' perspective. They wanted a new quarterback, and they were extremely limited. None of the top talent was willing to waive their no-trade clause for Washington. No one wants to come to Washington. It's a crack den of farts. The stadium is falling apart, their medical staff is inept, and their owner is a top 5 rat turd in the NFL. Carson Wentz was one of the few options available to them. He had experience, he has a strong arm, so if they wanted different, this is probably the best they could do. Now I say different, not better, because is he really that much better than Taylor Heineke? Seriously, how much better is he really? If Frank Reich couldn't fix him, I have no confidence Ron Rivera can. Pick your circumstances. I'm betting Heineke makes starts this year. Wentz is another one step forward, 2 steps back for this franchise. He's somehow the Titanic, the iceberg, and the captain. The Commanders also re-signed J.D. McKissick as mentioned earlier, thus fucking every Antonio Gibson fantasy manager for a 3rd year. Why you gotta do me like that, J.D.? The Lions have a new wide receiver in DJ Chark. Man, from the Jaguars to the Lions. Way to go, Chark. Navigating that career like Magellan on bath salts. I mean, he got paid. Though if he's living in Detroit, a good chunk of that is probably going to potable water. This might also be a pimp slap to the face of all Amon-Ra St. Brown fantasy managers. They also re-signed Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds, which is a pimp slap to the fans. Hopefully they get a receiver of significance in this year's draft. Otherwise, paper bag stock is going to the moon. Well, happy time quarterback Aaron Rodgers finally got the deal he wanted. Unfortunately, it put the Packers in a tough spot financially, forcing them to trade his top target, Davante Adams. I think we have footage of Rodgers throwing to his new receivers. Not quite. They still have Amari Rodgers, and they tendered receiver Allen Lazard, but it's getting pretty thin over there. The Minnesota Vikings don't have to worry about their quarterback situation. They love Kirk Cousins more than $35 million. Kudos to Cousins. Which sounds like a sitcom from the 70s. I haven't seen a quarterback get paid this much money for doing so little in their career since Sam Bradford. It's a buttload of money, but the Vikings needed Cousins back. It's the devil they know. And now's not the time to dick around with some hapless rando in the draft. Give it another year, Minnesota. Well, surprise, surprise, Tom Brady couldn't walk away from football. He's back for the love of the game. And $25 million, don't forget about that. Never did I actually believe he was retired. His goodbye statement didn't even use the word retire, which felt like a pretty lawyery omission. Not that an NFL quarterback has ever done such a thing before.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
He was only gone 2 months, which is just enough time to watch Man in the Arena 5 times, make love to his supermodel wife, probably with Man in the Arena still on, shoot 3 Hertz rent-a-car commercials, and get back to the Tampa Bay facility before the totem of his football reality had toppled. People say the NFL is better with Brady back, but Chris Godwin was franchise tagged, Brashad Perryman was re-signed, and Russell Gage was signed, meaning Deflator Mouse has plenty of good options to throw at. I particularly like the Gage signing. He might not be as good as Antonio Brown, but he's also way less, Antonio Brown. The only missing piece here is Gronk. Gronk go away? Gronk come back? Grog want party? The Rams are gonna need some wider pants for that big-ass signing. Allen Robinson has joined the team. With Robert Woods and OBJ coming off injuries, Allen Robinson gives them another A-level option across from Cooper Kupp. Allen Robinson has been incarcerated in a prison of bad quarterbacks his entire career. Now with the Rams, he'll be catching passes from Matthew Stafford. It's nothing but cupcakes and confetti now. Russell Wilson is a Seahawk no more. Translation, somebody fucked up. There's no Legion of Boom or Marshawn Lynch in the wings to carry this team. Pete Carroll has now lost every piece that made his Super Bowl runs possible. Drew Lock is now likely to start this season, but maybe that's not a catastrophe. I mean, Pete Carroll just wants to run the ball on every down anyway. Almost like he's haunted by that one time he didn't.
Play clock at 5. Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
Noah Fant was a good get. He's an upgrade over Gerald Everett, but Fant, much like every other wide receiver on this roster, is probably capped by quarterback play for the next year. And maybe the coach too. Stay strong, Seahawks fans. Or go cheer for the Broncos maybe. Just for a year. They're not in your division, it's okay. I'm sure by the time this video posts, there will be a lot more. Julio Jones and Fletcher Cox were cut today. Shenanigans are aplenty. Thanks for watching Shut Up Football. Until next time, peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Thought you did the thing. You ooh, ooh, ah. Panty lover.